We're also on the financing and recommending expanding the eligibility of existing loan funds to cover, to allow for debt refinancing. Several loan funds now do not do that at the state level, and in fact, as you probably know better than anyone, interest rates are now often over 20%, and a lot of credit card debt for small business. So this would allow for debt refinancing. Those are some of the major initiatives that are being recommended in the debt financing area. The second area is that the task force looked at was reducing red tape and providing regulatory reform. That included developing an online licensing process so that a business person could go online, type in their stuff. It's transportable to other licenses, so you don't have to do it 15 different times, and making a uniform process of licensing. A second recommendation, highly recommended by many of the business interests, was expanding a voluntary compliance system so that instead of being hit hard by fines and so forth, businesses have a chance to comply with the regulations and so forth on a voluntary basis before, in a limited time frame, so that they're more business friendly. A third recommendation was to create uniform definitions for employee and independent contractors. Right now, businesses oftentimes classify someone as an employee or a contractor, and it agrees with some of the agencies in the state or location, and then it doesn't comply with other agencies. So the small business person is caught in the middle, has to pay a fine because one agency says it's a contractor, the other says it's an employee, and so forth. So the notion is to create uniform definitions there. Finally, the committee also looked at, the task force looked at healthcare costs and made a series of recommendations, regardless of what the federal government will do, that would substantially reduce the cost of health care for small businesses, which have shown a steady increase in costs and a steady decline in coverage as more businesses can't afford it and opt out. So those were the kinds of red tape regulatory issues that the committee recommended. Some of them are going to require legislative action. Some of them can be done by executive order. So these will be proposed, as I say, for the coming legislative session. Third area that the task force looked at was new tools and techniques for business growth, including, as I already mentioned, supporting the commercialization of technological companies with business incubators and strategies like that, technical assistance from the universities and organizations like small business development centers, and providing technical assistance training to staff so that they're better able to help small business. Developing a whole strategy for procurement assistance so that the small business people have a better chance of accessing state procurement and and then several workforce development initiatives, including a layoff aversion problem, which would probably include subsidized wage pool, OJT training, on-the-job training for small businesses, and finally, improved opportunities for youth to learn about and be employed by small businesses. So those were the improvement of state initiatives. Several of those can be achieved with, sorry, I'll be done in a minute, with using existing federal resources. Finally, the last area of the task force work was in information dissemination. We found that a lot of times businesses would say, well, I didn't know we could do that. And so we've already developed a directory of small businesses, and Martha Otero, raise your hand, Martha, is there. This is a directory of all the services available or all the issues that a small business would have with the state, and Martha's there if you want to stop by and have her demonstrate the online system. It was introduced in mid-September. We've already had almost 500,000 hits on this system. It's people are really taking to it. It tells you an awful lot of information, and that will be continued to be developed, and more interaction with small businesses over time. And finally, we're creating a small business lending guide and a small business workforce availability guide, which will be launched in the near future and will be updated in a continued way. So that's generally our strategy, and if we have time later, I'll be glad to answer questions.
That's great. Thank you.